Hi there and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Bailey Unicorn Cabrera. These are a basic walkthrough on how to set up and operate the van as if you were coming on or off site. So starting off first, we have your black hitch head here and black lever that you have to have pulled up like so to then be able to wind down the jockey wheel onto the tow bar, causing that to snap down, pushing up that red button and exposing a green ring. You then have your breakaway cable just here. Now legality states if you have an eye point it has to be used. If not, wrap it around the tow bar. You've got your handbrake just here, which is on a gas strut, so to release it you have to press in and then push down. Now when you're engaging this, you'll want to pull it all the way back. You'll hear a first initial click and then there's usually about 3 to 4 clicks afterwards, so make sure you pull it all the way. Jockey wheel sits on the side of the A-frame whilst travelling, and you have little cutouts to be able to feed the legs all the way in. Caravan is also fitted with 13-pin electric, so if you do have 7-pin adaptation, make sure to bring yourself an adapter. 2 points either side and 2 points at the back, we have inserts for your legs. Now the Caravan itself comes with a leg winder, or alternatively you can get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill just to make it that bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up or level the Caravan using your legs, they're simply used for stabilisation. Now we're using test equipment today, so just here, got your mains plugs in, nice and easy. On the opposing side, starting off first, we have your water pump in an acrowl full of fresh drinking water. Now this is a whale pump, so to release this, all you have to do is press up the lid and just pull it out. You have this white cap to go over the top of the acrowl to ensure no nastiness gets in, and then at the bottom we have your actual pump. That sits at the bottom of the barrel because otherwise it will create airlocks if it's not just pulling through water. Then all you have to do to engage this is you have to press this in and flick down that cap. That locks it into place. Next to that we have your flue. Flue is used to get clean air in and out of your boiler when operating on gas. Don't have to do anything with this except make sure it's nice, clean and tidy. We then have your gas locker and my test bottle. I'm using propane today. I'd always recommend propane over butane as it has a better performance in winter. Connected onto that is a black gas hose which will run for 5 years, orange will run for 10, and that connects onto this regulator just here. Now what you'll want to do is hand tighten that as much as you physically can and then nip it up using a spanner. You don't want it ridiculously tight as there is an O-ring inside the actual hose. Too much pressure on that can cause it to crack and break. Those mover will be gone over on collection. And then we have your toilet function. So underneath here we have the 2 points where your wastewater is going to come out of. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipe to feed into a waste master that you can empty out at the appropriate point on site. We then have your cassette toilet. Now to remove this, press up on the orange handle and pull out towards you. Now this handle does also extend out and up and can be used similar to a carry-on suitcase. What you'll want to do when you're at the appropriate point on site is twist this head to the side, open up that cap. You'll want to tilt and at the same time as tilting continually press in that vent button. As you can see, I've put in some fresh water, and the way I do that is opening up this compartment, feeding it in, giving it a shake, and again tilting and venting just so a couple of the nastier smells go away. Then on your cap here you have measurements in both imperial and metric, and that is for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes into there, twist the head back to the side and then push in your cassette so the orange handle sits behind those white teeth. Above that we have your flush tank. Now this has a capacity to hold around 12 litres of water, however I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10 as you don't want to overfill the compartment. You can also add some pink chemical which works as a bleach without being corrosive. However, if you are using pink chemical, please do not put in a ridiculous amount. You'll only need like half a capful as otherwise it will just turn into sludge. Now you don't want to travel with either of these two compartments full, so just here got a little plug to drain off any remaining water from the flush tank. The Caravan will be fully drained off before you leave with it. Underneath your right hand side seat you have your boiler just here, which is an Alder Compact 320. 30-20 even, and behind there at the back we have your yellow drain valve. Now when you pick up the caravan, it will be in the upright position, which is drain mode. November to March, have that up permanently unless you're actively using the caravan, and anytime you come off site, give the caravan a drain off as well. This box here is your battery box. On a bailey, they do sit inside the floor, so they do have height restrictions of up to 130 millimeters. You then have your brain box for your motor mover, and also the ignition part for the mover there as well, all of which will be gone over on collection. And then down here we have all your trips and fuses, all your trips in the upright position, and all your fuses in the correct position. I'd always recommend carrying some extra fuses across the van. Just here we have your main control panel. So you have your main on and off switch. Tells you the amount of power coming into the van from the leisure battery, but as I'm plugged into mains, that is going to slightly differ. We have your main light switch here, which you can see does work, and then you've just got to use your representative switches. Awning light, which again you can see just there, all operative and on. And then you have your pump here. Now when the water is coming in and being pressurized, there will be a green LED come up on there. When I come over to the water, what you'll want to do is open up the tap for about 30 seconds, and what you're looking for is a nice steady continuous stream like this. You can see on the panel now that there is a green light, and that is representing that water is being pulled through from the Acrol to the boiler to replace the water that's coming out of it. Now for this, you'll want to wait about 30 seconds and also check on your other taps and showers if you're planning on using them. So after 30 seconds of this, if there are coughs and splutters, check your pump, check that you got plenty of water, and check your drain valve. So after around 30 seconds, which is going to be about now, you can then shut it off. You'll see green light is still on to show you that water is coming back into the tank and being pressurized, and then eventually it will go off after around about 30 seconds. Now when it comes to draining, what you'll first want to do is switch off the pump, come over to your drain valve and flick it up to the upright position, and also open up your tap to get rid of any little residual bits of water. And that is how to operate the actual pump there. Then here we have your idle control panel. So you turn on using this button, it will flash up, and then it will go to its home screen, which is this screen here. It tells you the current internal temperature is 24 degrees and shows you mains are plugged in. Press menu and you come to this screen. So first row is for the internal temperature that you desire. You can either individually tap, or you can press and hold to increase that. That goes up to a maximum of 30. Now if you select a temperature and it's a nice enough day like this, it will take around an hour to get to temperature. If it's a bit more miserable, it can take longer. Next up we have water temperature. So you can either have it completely off, midway, which will get the water temperature to around about 40 to 50 degrees, or you can have it on full. Now what full does, it's a boost setting, so it's prioritizing heating the water over heating the actual caravan itself, and that lasts for around about 30 minutes. After those 30 minutes, it will then drop itself down to midway. Then we have energy sources, so you can either use 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts of electric. Now do be aware that some sites do not have the capacity for 3 kilowatts, or you can use gas, or you can use a mixture. So you've got the choice of gas, mains or both. Then settings, not going to run through that, as we've set it to what we believe the most user-friendly panel to use. However, if you'd like to have a look inside your book pack, then please do so. Now naturally this screen will fade off when not interacted with in a little bit of time, but when you want the heating completely off, press in just there. Just here we have your hob, grill and oven, all of which operates on gas minus the electric plate. Electric plate, spin to whatever mark and it will get to temperature. Everything else you need to press in on the dial, twist it to the side, and then press in on your igniter. Now it may be a case when you first come to use this that it will light and then cut off, or it may take a little bit of time to light. That is completely natural. That is the gas making its way through the system, so you've just got to give it a little bit of time or potentially relight it. This is what it looks like when they're all lit. As you can see, all burners lit. Then it's the same concept for your grill. So let's just try and do this all with one hand now. So press that in. You can see one side lights up, and then what you may have to do is just press it again. And then it may just take a little second to be able to do it. And there we go. I did have to relight it once or twice. And then it's the same concept for your oven. Now make sure as well that these trays do not intrude on the igniter. And there you go, oven all nice and lit there as well. Only other real thing to note is that you need to travel with this glass sheet down, but don't put it down until all burners are cold to the touch. And if you're travelling with a gas bottle, make sure the bottle itself is off. Then just here we have your fridge operation. So you've got 3 different choices for source. You've got mains, that battery symbol which is only representative for 13 pin whilst travelling, and gas. Now for mains, you'll see fridge lights come on. If I were to select that battery symbol and not be plugged in, it would trip this out. However, what we're going to have a look at is the gas, because what you have here is this dial which shows the amount of power coming into the fridge. The thicker the bar, the more power. But when you're using gas, it also doubles up as a press-in for the igniter. So what you have to do is you have to use both of these, press in fairly hard, and you have to wait for this orange bar to float over into the green. Now it can take up to a minute to do, and what I would recommend first is running through your hob grill and oven, but you have to press in fairly firmly to get it floated to the green, which looks like this. As you can see, that orange bar is floated into the green. So when you press it in, you'll gradually hear it tick in, and then you'll sort of hear it puff up, which is it igniting. Now, if I were to switch this over to mains, it immediately drops out. Switch it back to gas and it's going to still drop out, and you'll just have to relight it. So, what you've got to do when you're finished is switch that up to the middle position. Now it does take around 4 hours for the fridge to fully chill. It's not the quickest thing in the world, so you can either chill it the night before or chill it whilst towing. Just here we have your toilet function, so you want to lift up the lid, pressing this button on the side, and you can hear that pump. Now what that would do is push around any water in the system. As it's being drained off, it's not going to be able to do that. So what you'll want to do is press that to the side and then pull it back towards you. That releases the waste, and when the cassette is full, there'll be a red light on there telling you to empty.